Damn garbage trucks. It's always the damn garbage trucks getting in the way every time I gotta shoot a video. Look at that. I don't know if you can hear that outside, but it is ridiculous. Ridiculous, man. Every time. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick, and today we got a very special video. I got Ram here as my co-star. There's his tail, he's waving to you guys. Say hi. Oh, there he goes. He's interested in the garbage trucks, I guess. Yep, there he is. But regardless, welcome back to the channel. Today I have another TV related video for you guys. I know this channel has been doing some TV related videos recently. We did just previously the describing 50 sitcoms in one sentence, which you guys really enjoyed. So that gives me confidence to do more TV related videos, which is something I really enjoy. I know you can't really tell because obviously you can't see the productions and stuff, behind the scenes, sort of stuff like that, what we have working in progress right now, but we got a lot of really cool TV videos planned, including this one today, which was kind of just like a spur of the moment sort of idea I came up with a couple nights ago, but a really cool one nevertheless, which is my top 10 favorite TV creators of all time. Now this is how this is going to work. Basically, we give a lot of props to the actors, the directors, the writers of our favorite TV shows, but very rarely do we actually give proper accolades and proper respect to the TV creators, because without them, a bunch of our favorite TV shows would cease to exist. So what I have here today, I'm going to present to you guys my top 10. Couple things to remind you guys while you're watching this video. Number one, this is just my opinion. Of course, we're all going to have different opinions when it comes to very subjective topics like this, including TV. So if you disagree, please leave a comment below. Please keep it civil though, because we have a ton of stuff going on in the world right now, and that's the last thing that any of us want. This is just a friendly conversation, friendly debate about our favorite TV shows. Number two, in order to qualify for this list, the creator in question must have made at least 2 noteworthy TV shows, even though there are a lot that have made one very, very popular show but just haven't really followed it up with anything, and we'll get into that a little bit later here in the video. But at least for the main list, 2 shows to qualify. Thirdly, I'm going to be ranking these on a combination of the quality of the shows, of course, in my opinion, the ones that I like the most, as well as the amount of shows that are noteworthy that the creator has made over the years. More or less can decide their placement on the list. And finally, before we get into the list proper, I want to start off with a few honorable mentions, beginning with the creators of my favorite show of all time, How I Met Your Mother, Craig Thomas and Carter Bays. Now, these guys don't qualify for the list because, like I said, you need at least 2 noteworthy shows. And honestly, it's unfortunate because these guys have a ton of potential. As I mentioned, my favorite show of all time, How I Met Your Mother, was created by them, but they have not followed it up with anything, man. These guys are just, they've been stagnant for the last few years. I don't know what's going on. I follow them on social media. I follow them and all of their accounts and everything, and they just have not been putting anything out. They have nothing in production as far as I'm concerned, which is a real shame because I think these guys are crazy talented. If you go to their Wikipedias, it shows you every episode of Him Yim that they were involved with, that they wrote, and of course the pilot, because of course they created it, but they were involved with much more than your average TV creator. That was their baby, and it shows because that show is just incredible. But like I said, they just haven't followed it up with anything, so that's why they're only getting an honorable mention here. My second one has to go to Larry David because Seinfeld, of course, and Curb Your Enthusiasm, 2 of the most successful sitcoms of the last 30 years. Larry David is just super talented as well. Next up, a really interesting one, Merv Griffin, a name that you probably don't recognize right off the bat, but he has created 2 of the most successful game shows in America, Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. These 2 shows have been interlocked since the beginning, and they've been very, very closely connected with their production, with their hosts, and of course with their creator. Merv Griffin isn't probably someone that is super productive nowadays. Obviously, a lot of his work comes from much earlier than a lot of these creators, but nevertheless, Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune are still some American classic game shows, so I had to give him an honorable mention as well. Following that up with Scott Fellows, who another name you probably don't recognize, but chances are you definitely know Ned's Declassified and Big Time Rush, two of the most successful live-action Nickelodeon sitcoms that he was responsible for, two of my favorites. Another Nickelodeon name here, Butch Hartman, is another honorable mention I have. Creator of Fairly Odd Parents, Tough Puppy, and Danny Phantom, all very successful Nickelodeon cartoons. And finally, the last honorable mention I have to give here is David Shore, who is most responsible for the creation of the drama House, starring Hugh Laurie, one of the most successful dramas of the last 15 years, as well as a more recent drama, The Good Doctor, which is a show that me and my girlfriend tend to watch a lot. I've been getting really into that. And the shortly lived Battle Creek he also created, which is a legal drama that took place a few years ago that he created alongside fellow TV creator Vince Gilligan, one that we will definitely get into a little bit later. But with the honorable mentions out of the way, it is finally time to get into the list proper, one that I'm very excited to show you guys. Starting off with number 10, a husband and wife duo team that created two of my personal favorite sitcoms in the 90s, That 70s Show and Third Rock from the Sun. I'm talking, of course, about Bonnie and Terry Turner. Now, these guys haven't done much in the way of some of the other creators on this list. Their resume is relatively short compared to these, but like I said, those two extremely influential sitcoms, That 70s Show and Third Rock, two of my all-time favorites. That 70s Show's pilot, the one that they wrote, one of my all-time favorite episodes. I think that is extremely well done. It has some of the best setups for any characters, for the plot line. It really sets the show up very well. Those two responsible for some of the best TV episodes of all time. Now, Terry would also go on to do the That 70s Show spinoff called That 80s Show. If you guys know anything about that, then you know that's probably not worth talking about all too much. Does not live up to the hype whatsoever. But in the core resume that they have, in the core shows that they were responsible for, That 70s Show and Third Rock, they definitely deserve a spot in this top 10. Next up here at number 9, I have Greg Garcia, another very successful sitcom creator, responsible for some of the best within the 2000s, like My Name is Earl, Yes Dear, Raising Hope, The Millers, and most recently, The Guest Book. Now, you probably don't recognize him right off the bat because compared to a lot of the other sitcom creators, his shows aren't as successful, aren't as popular, but nevertheless are very, very good in their own right. He sprinkles in a lot of references to his other shows. His fan base is very strong, support him very well, which is always nice to see in the world of TV. And it means that his future projects can always rely on a successful fan base coming in, giving his shows a watch, and supporting him throughout the years. At number 8, we have J.J. Abrams, one of the most successful sci-fi drama creators of the past 20 years, with some smash hits like Felicity, Alias, Lost, and most recently Fringe. He's been doing so much work in the world of TV. He's got dozens and dozens of shows that he's attached his name to, not only in TV, but in movies as well. He's just super successful in Hollywood in general. With these 4 shows specifically, though, I would say Lost is probably his most recognizable one. It's one of the most influential dramas of all time, something that he's definitely most proud of. And for me, at least, Fringe is a show that I remember getting a lot of success when I was growing up. That was around 2008 to 2010, somewhere in there, I remember that debuting, and that went on for quite a while as well. That was definitely a show that, like I said, got a lot of attention when it debuted, really put his name up there as far as catapulting him to do bigger and better projects throughout the years, something that he has continued to do throughout all this time. So J.J. Abrams certainly deserves a spot here in the top 10. At number 7 here, a controversial choice to put in the top 10 based on some more recent actions that this man has caused. but nevertheless had some childhood classics growing up. I'm talking, of course, about Dan Schneider, Nickelodeon's go-to guy. And I can't help myself but laugh at this one because, as ridiculous as this is to talk about, Dan Schneider still, to this day, has some of the most successful teen sitcoms in the history of TV. Talking, of course, about iCarly, Drake and Josh, Zoe 101, Victorious, and so many more. He's worked super close with Nickelodeon for all this time. Even though some of his more recent shows haven't hit the same as some of his earlier ones, I think those early 2000 to 2010 sitcoms, like I talked about, are some of the best in the field. The Amanda Show is one of the first ones that I ever saw by him way back in the day, back in the early 2000s. And then he, of course, went on to do Drake and Josh, which just catapulted his career to the max, which is something that I will always be grateful for because I love those shows. At number 6 here, we have the one and only Matt Groening, one of the most famous cartoonists of all time. His career actually started with comic books, with the Life and Hell series, if you guys remember those. But then, of course, in 1989, revolutionized TV when he debuted The Simpsons for the very first time. And that went on to become one of the most successful TV empires that it is today. His other main show worth talking about is Futurama, a show that debuted in 1999. One of my favorites personally, and definitely something worth checking out if you've never seen it. Although his resume is relatively short compared to the rest of the creators on this list, he gets high marks because of the impact that his shows have made over time and the fact that his shows have been very consistent for quite some time now. Coming in at number 5, just barely inching him out, is another very famous cartoonist known for some of the best adult cartoons out there. My brother will be very happy to hear that representing in the top 5, it's Seth MacFarlane, creator, of course, of Family Guy, American Dad, The Cleveland Show, and many other TV and movie projects. Seth MacFarlane is one of the most consistent and reliable entertainers in Hollywood working today, and he earns every stripe that he's gotten over the years. Family Guy is one of the most impactful, one of the most important adult cartoons out there, and if not been for Seth MacFarlane, then TV would look a lot different to where it is today. I said, very reliable, very consistent fella in the world of Hollywood with TV to back his name. At number 4, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, one that I promised you I would come back to, Vince Gilligan. Now, you probably recognize him most from his hugely successful, and I mean hugely successful drama, Breaking Bad, as well as the spin-off series, Better Call Saul. Those two alone bring such high quality to the table that it's impossible to not put him in my top 5 here. Breaking Bad, with Walter White, of course, as the lead character, creating that dynamic, creating that story is just so important and so amazing in the world of TV. Vince Gilligan is the man responsible for it, as well as what a lot of people would argue is even better, Better Call Saul, with Bob Odenkirk, of course, playing the lead there. One of the best characters ever written in TV. Vince Gilligan is the man to thank. All right, now for these last 3, you could honestly rearrange this order any way that you see fit, depending on your personal taste. I struggled a lot with these last 3 because they're all incredible. Any one of these could take the number 1 on any given day. But in the number 3 spot, taking the bronze medal, creator of some of the most critically acclaimed sitcoms of the past decade, it is none other than Michael Schur. He started his career working very closely with Greg Daniels on The Office, but then proceeded to make one of the best mockumentaries in TV, Parks and Recreation, whose 7-year run created some of the most iconic characters and episodes in sitcom history. He followed that up with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, my personal favorite of his shows, starring Andy Samberg as a detective working in Brooklyn's 99th district, as the title would suggest, creating a vast array of characters and giving us plenty of laughs along the way. It's actually one of his shows that is still on to this day. It's the longest running, which is awesome to see. And finally, back in 2016, gave us The Good Place, which is one of the best in sitcom history. My buddy Mike and I absolutely love that show. He recently finished it, which I was so happy to hear because it is amazing. Definitely check it out if you haven't. But to see a sitcom run like this is practically unheard of. Like three of the most critically acclaimed. Critics and audiences alike absolutely love these shows, and to see back to back to back like that is absolutely insane. So props to Michael Schur getting the number 3 spot here on our list, absolutely deserved. Taking our runner-up slot today in the list of the best TV creators of all time, at number 2, it is none other than Dick Wolf, whose legendary career spans over 40 years in TV and has created 2 of the biggest franchises, not TV shows, franchises of all time, Law & Order and the Chicago shows. Now let me break it down for you. Law & Order, of course, everyone knows about it. Successful police procedural shows spanning for more than 35 years on TV. It started off with 1990s Law & Order, as simple as that, followed up by Law & Order SVU in 1999, followed by Criminal Intent in 2001, and the list just keeps going. There have been some ups and downs within the Law & Order series, but for the most part, without a doubt, one of the most consistent franchises out there, and one of the most popular as far as dramas in TV. Then in the 2010s, he came back with the Chicago shows, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Chicago Med, and for a brief time, Chicago Justice. That one wasn't super successful, but the other 3 are still on TV to this day. Dick Wolf is just a master of his craft with the police procedural shows, with the drama shows. He makes characters that you want to see succeed in his shows. He creates extremely interesting plot synopsis, plot stories, intricate stories that make you want to keep watching. His shows are addicting, they're binge-worthy, and they've become some of my favorite TV shows of all time. Now, there's one last show that I want to mention when we're talking about Dick Wolf here, which is Homicide: Life in the Street. This show has become absolutely legendary in the world of TV, one of the most critically acclaimed police procedural shows ever to be released, but also because Dick Wolf uses his characters in this show very uniquely and actually puts them in other shows later down in his career. Most specifically, the character of John Munch, who first appeared on Homicide, but then later became a mainstay in SVU. All of his shows also tend to be in the same universe, which is really cool. There's a lot of crossovers there, so if you're a big fan like me, it's awesome to see characters from Law & Order SVU appear on Chicago PD, or all the Chicagos coming together. Maybe a character from some of the other Law & Orders, like Criminal Intent, appear on it. They're just all interconnected, which is really awesome to see. It gives fans like me a lot of intriguing sort of, they call them fan service in the industry, if you will. But there's a lot of fan service within this show, and I think it's really awesome to see a creator be very proud of the characters and the settings that he's created, to use them so vastly for so many different ways. Dick Wolf is absolutely one of my favorites, and absolutely, without question, deserves our number 2 spot. Finally, it is now time to reveal the number 1 best TV creator. Now, there was a lot of contention, like I said, between Michael Schur, Dick Wolf, and this gentleman here, but I think based on the quality and quantity of amazing shows that he has given us over a career spanning more than 30 years on TV, it is my pleasure to present to you Chuck Lorre as the greatest TV creator. Now, his shows roster from amazing sitcoms all the way to new web series and everything in between. This man has put forward more than a dozen of the greatest comedies on TV, and I just have a sample list that I want to present to you. Shows like Big Bang Theory, Mom, Young Sheldon, 2.5 Men, Grace Under Fire, Bob Arts Abishola, Dharma and Greg, Be Positive, and so many more. Chuck Lorre is a master in his domain and continues to be one of the most successful TV creators of all time. Thank you for watching this video. I know this was a little bit different of a setup, but if you enjoyed it, please like and comment below. Who are your favorite TV creators out there? Did I miss some? Did I nail them for your list? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to see more TV related videos, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell, because we got so many more coming your way. Stuff that I'm very excited to present to you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed once again. Thank you for watching. And as always, I will see you in the next one.